excited because this is the time of the year that we do get busy. And
Yes.
what's your thoughts on all that stuff?
Well, they say the veil spinner at October. That's what the Druids felt, and that's what the pagans felt,
Hmm.
and that's the time when the veil's thinner and the spirits can cross over easier. So maybe that's
Right.
why it picks up, or maybe it's just the spooky season.
It could. You know what? Personally, me, I just think it's the spooky season. Sure, the veil is like low or really, 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 really thin. But
Yeah,
you know what? Sometimes I think even all year round, all the experiences we had in our investigations, um, we had a lot of ghosts, and it's like I think the veil is thinner. I think it's an old wives' tale when it comes around October and some sort like that, and Halloween, that somebody brought it up a long time ago, and I believe that's what people are going by. Um, I personally think that, like I said before, that the veil is going to be going on 365 days out of the year.
yeah.
And yeah, so what happens? Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm really excited about these investigations coming up. Last Saturday, we went down to the Montour Trail, and a little history about the Montour Trail here in Pittsburgh. It's down in a little town called Hendersonville, PA, and what happened was there was a train wreck um, back in the early 1900s. And what happened was we went there, and I'm telling you what, Jessica, our new member in the group, she really, really caught some good evidence down there. I know you were down there one time, Russ. Did you catch
Yeah.
anything up down there? What did you get?
No, we didn't get anything. We heard things in the bushes, but it could have been an animal, a squirrel, bird.
Hmm.
And we just walked the trail and
Right,
we snapping some pictures, got some orbs. But
right,
me, I really don't go with the orb pictures. I like to get the movies. But
right. But back when you first started, was that the same way how you felt? Was you needed movies or was pictures? I mean, this is when you first started.
right. Well, I always felt that the videos were better than the still pictures because like the one guy I talked to, he said a still picture is 1/32 of a second in time.
Hmm.
So you really
Okay.
can't tell what that is. It could be
Right.
matrixing or a
Hmm.
bug. But the movies, I like to see how they play out. That's why I like to use the movies, the SLS camera, the thermal.
Hmm.
Thermal, if you get something that's purple walking across and there's nobody there, then you pretty
Right.
much, but if you take a picture of it, people could say, that's just somebody running real quick. You caught them. But that's
Right.
why
That's true. But for me, I have trail cams. Okay. And I tell you what, I got a lot of good evidence off that trail cam. Um, a lot of times you would actually, it would, I used the still pictures, but now that you got me into the video, I started using the video. And
yeah,
I'm surprised how sensitive that trail cam is because there are, I remember one time when we were down at the Collie Tavern. Yeah. I mean, I've
yeah,
gotten video that no one was there. You know what I mean? Not even a movement, not even a spirit, not even an orb, but I got the movie thing going on. And
yeah.
what I plan on doing, like we're going to Gettysburg, that on the 25th and
I'm also
24th of September. Hmm. Can't wait to get up there. To me, that is like um, Spiritville.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like Spiritville.
yeah.
Now, me and you and Jan, your wonderful wife, we've been up to Gettysburg a lot. And
Few
can I get
times.
your feelings? Yeah. Can I? What's your feelings about the Gettysburg? Share a little bit of what you feel and what you saw up there.
I always feel different there than I do like if we go to a client's, well, some clients' houses. But
Hmm.
Gettysburg, I know what happened there, and I can actually feel it. That it was a place where a lot of young people died unexpected. You know,
Hmm.
they didn't expect to die, and it was just a
Right.
bloody battle. And
Hmm.
really find it interesting. I love to watch the history about it and
Right.
what actually really happened. Like that movie you gave me, Gettysburg. That's a good movie to watch about Culp's Hill and
Yes.
Prickett's Charge and everything.
Well, to
And
me, Culp's Hill up there, I remember I got a couple stories to talk about Culp's Hill. And in fact, you were with me. Remember, I was shooting Paranormal Pittsburgh up there, and
when
we
we
were
got
walking up. We got
right,
stoned. We got stoned. Yeah,
yeah,
that was that was funny. You know, Matt and all them, Chloe and all them are all freaking out about that. It was fun. I love Culp's Hill because to me, even though they say Pickett's Charge was really deadly and badly, and a lot of people died on Pickett's Charge, that was the third day of Gettysburg. I think the first day um, up at Culp's Hill was the first day, July 1st. That there was a lot of bloodshed going on up that hill, and
yeah,
what was really, really, really depressing about that whole thing on Culp's Hill was you had a Maryland regiment from the Confederacy, and then you also had a Maryland regiment um, who was from the Union, and he was fighting against his own brother. So to me, I had a hard problem with that. I consider that nice and sad, kind and sad, you know. But also up there on Culp's Hill too, you know, they got that one ghost up there, Lady in White. Um, her husband went away into a war, and she got killed. He got killed, and now she wanders all up and down those hills up
yeah.
in Culp's Hill. So in a way, it's like a kind of sad thing. My
My
other favorite, but go ahead.
my best experience there was it's before we joined Pittsburgh Paranormal, and
Hmm.
we was staying at the Gettysburg RV Resort. And remember, I told you that Jan had the migraine, so I went out by myself. There
Hmm.
was a path, and I figured, that's close to the battlefield. And they told me that's the only resort on the battlefield. So I went down into the woods, had a brand new flashlight, and I'm walking through the woods, and the flashlight just went out by itself. I'm
Oh
shaking it. I
well,
took the batteries out, put them back in, still wouldn't work. I put it in my top pocket. Then I walked down, and I had that ghost radar. A lot of people don't like the phone apps, but I had ghost
right.
radar, and I was using my phone, and I walked up and I seen a monument, and I sat down on it, and I said, I'll try this. So I tried the ghost radar, and I said, is anybody here? And it said, forgotten. I said, oh, you're not forgotten. I'm here.
Mm.
And then I said, how did you die? And it said that surrounded. That was the only word to come up, surrounded. So I asked a
Hmm.
bunch more questions, nothing come up. I started to walk back out. Now this is 10:30 at night, pitch black. I'm walking out. As soon as I made the bend on that path, that flashlight lit back up. So I
Oh
went up to the
wow. Hmm.
RV and people seen me and they come walking down. They said, would you ghost hunt? And I said, yeah, I was out looking in there, but they're hard to catch, them ghosts. And hard to put on your wall, hard to put on your wall. I remember I told them that.
Right.
And the guy said, did you see the Forgotten Monument? And I said, is that what it's called? And that was the word to come up, forgotten. And
Wow.
I said, what happened there? He said, a regiment of the North got surrounded by the South and it started raining real bad and they called off the battle.
Mm-hmm.
And one went one way, one went the other, but 6 Northern troops were killed. And that's a coincidence that the 2 words were
Ah.
forgotten and surrounded. And it just gave me chills. It gives me chills now. It gave me chills, and I was really that really got me into Gettysburg. that experience, right?
And but how about the time? How about that time when we were at the other one, Artillery Ridge?
Artillery. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to tell that story because that was crazy. I remember the first night, first time I stayed with them at the RV in their RV. Um, Me and her dog Cody, who's a big old Roddy, we're sleeping, and then all of a sudden I hear this hi, just like that, and me and Cody woke up like and looked at the same place,
Yeah.
and that put like the chills that chilled me because it like kind of freaked me out, to be honest with you. I was trying to be macho man and not let it bother me, but I'll be honest with everybody, it bothered the crap out of me, man. It's like, why won't you let me sleep? Let me sleep in private. I don't want to hear no ghost. But the second night though, that was crazy because I'm there sleeping on the couch, and all of a sudden I hear raindrops. Okay, and I'm thinking it's raining out. So I get up and I open up the door, no rain. I'm thinking, that's strange, right? So I go and lay back down again, and all of a sudden I heard the raindrops again. It felt like rain was hitting the RV, but I listened to it clearly, and it wasn't hitting the roof. It was actually hitting the side of the RV,
Mm-hmm.
and that really, really like that was interesting. And come to find out that Artillery Ridge RV Park was a place where the Union held, stored all their ammunition, all their guns and stuff like that, missiles and
Cannons.
stuff like it. Yeah. And so I wonder if there was a firefight in there. You know what I mean? Was there a
Yeah.
fight? Because the more I thought about it, that day after we woke up, I'd bet you 2 to 1 those were bullets hitting the side of
Yeah.
the RV. I lie you not. I really thought, and I actually went out and looked for dents, and there was no dents at all.
Yeah.
But
And the
but
time
then
the whole
again,
RV fell and went boom,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
I
ran
know.
out. What was that? You were sitting on the chair. You couldn't have done it. And I
No,
checked the levelers. Everything was fine. It was still level and up on the
right.
levelers. And
Oh,
that
I
was kind
know,
of,
and it scared the crap out of me, man. I mean, this was, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, this was my first time staying in an RV, and I loved it. But I'll tell you what, um, it was pretty creepy up there. But I like the one when we had the last time with Kelly up there, and no relation, and it was at night, and this place, Artillery Ridge, was an equestrian place.
yeah, they kept horses for
They had
people.
horses up there that they ran them and trot them around the fences and stuff like that. But all I know is that we both woke up, and this was like about 2 in the morning, and we heard a stampede of horses going through the RV park. And we're like, what the hell is going on? Because the real horses that were there were going nuts. All the horses were going crazy. They were, you couldn't shut them up. They were just like spazzing out in their stalls. And me and her, we actually found, not found, but we heard like a stampede of horses.
Yeah.
So those are my experiences up there in Gettysburg, especially with the RV. It's never a dull moment when you go up there.
No.
What do you think of Sac? What do you think of Sachs Bridge?
Sachs Bridge, I've had hits on the K2 and never got any video evidence, but I
Hmm.
was always too busy taking pictures because it's a beautiful bridge.
It's
And
gorgeous.
yeah, I looked into the history of that bridge, and it was moved, I think, during a flood. It
Hmm.
moved and they
Yeah,
built it a little bit downstream. So I'm
right.
wondering if we can find out where it originally was, or maybe the spirits move with it, because they said a lot of it's actual timbers. from the old
Right.
bridge. See, I don't know
Hmm.
how spirits work. I don't know if they have to stay with the structure even if it's moved, because I hear a lot about houses that are moved and the spirits go with it. So
Oh
we'll have
yeah,
to look
I,
a
I
little more,
I
test it
agree
out.
with you on that. I think about the same thing, but I agree. But I think the spirits moved along with the bridge. And
Yeah,
anyway, that bridge, you know where the bridge is located, right?
right.
If you go upstream, maybe about 200 yards, that's where the
Hmm.
bridge stood originally. But I love Sachs Bridge because it is like brutally haunted. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of activity going on. I remember one time a friend of mine, he made me this piece of equipment which was four K2 meters in a box. Okay.
Yeah. Remember that.
And it was a, you remember that?
Yeah.
And and so we're on the bridge and everybody's walking back and forth on the bridge doing their thing. And I just set it down. And all of a sudden it started to go off, you know. And I remember that one lady coming around when she
She
was
thought
there.
you
And
had something in your pocket, was setting it off.
yes,
Remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I told her, no, I don't. I had my hands out. Everyone had their hands out, and the thing was
Yeah.
moving. But I found out that that spirit that was with that box, the guy was from Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah.
And what I did was I left him a cigarette. He wanted a cigarette.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and a match. And I gave him a cigarette and a match. And I tell you what, he just talked all night long up there. And,
Yeah.
and he loved attention too, because anybody that would come over to that box, it would light up. But
And
now, yeah, that
another good
those
place.
were,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
go
Another
ahead.
good place
Well,
is the Cash Town.
cast on in.
Me and Janice went there on the motorcycle. We told you this story,
Yeah.
and they were closing, so they had no food. We had a drink, and they gave us some bread. It was good. And Janice looked out the window, and she said, "We got to get out of here. It's snowing." And I said, "It can't be snowing. It's July, or I think it was August. It can't be
August.
snow." We walked out and it was 75 degrees, and she's her I seen snow coming down. It was heavy, so she had a
Oh
vision
my
there. She
God.
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shawn.
That's so, no, don't be sorry. It's all cool. Yeah, I wanted to at the beginning when I started PPS and started going to Gettysburg, I wanted to investigate the cast town inn. And
Hmm.
I do believe Taps was up there, and we went up there after Taps was there. And they made a hell of a lot of money. They wanted me, they had 8 rooms up there, I do believe it was
Yeah,
8. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in order us to investigate the whole cast town inn, we would have to rent out all 8 rooms
yeah,
at 200 apiece. And I'm like, that ain't worth it. That ain't worth it. Hell,
no,
I can go down to the Jenny Wade House and stand outside the Jenny Wade House and get a lot.
yeah.
Um, that Jenny Wade House was that she's there, you know.
I've never been there. Never been there.
Oh my God, we got to take you there this weekend
Janice
coming
wanted me
up.
to ask you, where is the orphanage where the kids were put in the basement?
Okay, the orphanage where the Jenny Wade House is, you go up there. I do believe it's a like an old time relic place. Okay.
Is that where the wax statues are, the presidents?
Yes, that's it. And
Okay.
then what you do, it's down there in the basement.
In the
I
basement of
used to
that.
in the basement. Yes.
Okay.
And I don't like it there because I'm a pretty big boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like totally bending over, because if I would get up, I would be hitting my head up. And then I'd be really legitimately seeing ghosts. I'd be seeing them things spawning in my hair. But Gettysburg to me, I, I love it up there. Okay. And for some reason, it's like when you're coming in Route 30 and you see the first monument, and
Yeah.
to me, okay, it's like I'm home. Do you know what I mean? I'm home.
Yeah.
It, I just feel, believe it or not, I feel real safe up there. Everybody's nice up there. And at one point in time, I was seriously planning on moving up there, but I didn't. I'm still here in Pittsburgh, you know, cutting meat. So, what else about Gettysburg did you like?
I like walking downtown, looking at the cannonballs in the walls. Some of the
Yeah.
buildings. And we have to find that place where the monument is downtown that they don't let you in after dusk.
Oh, I
That's
know. Was it a monument? I think it was just a plain old yard, to be honest with you. I think it
it
was a
had a
big,
monument.
big
And I
yard.
remember the monument. That's where Dave said
Right.
he seen a yellow orb.
Okay. And that was
So
great. And the cops came and kicked us out. That was
yeah,
funnier than hell. That was funnier than hell.
it's not
But
fun until they call 911. You know.
yeah. So this past year we were down at the place in Ohio. What was the name of that place?
Bel Air House.
Bel Air House. You had a nice experience down there during that
Yeah,
time. You want to care to share it?
that's the first time a spirit ever listened to me. We were all sitting around a table. We had two candles lit, and the one was on the right, and the other one's on the left. And the one on the left had a glass over it, where like a hurricane lamp. And I was talking to Andrew. Was that his name? Well, the guy's
I don't
name.
think.
And I
Right.
said, "Can you please put that light out, but don't burn yourself. Be careful." And right on cue, that candle went doop and went right out. And
Ain't
everybody,
that crazy?
yeah, and we got that on video. We're gonna have to post it on one of your shows, like next week or so.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan because, like, after the show tonight, like, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before earlier, this is just a preview. My show is actually on Tuesday nights,
Mm-hmm.
11 p.m. Eastern to midnight, and that would also be 10 to 11 Central. So I'm just getting used to talking, and I got my friend Russell Round here with me, and he's like my brother because he's been with
Yeah.
me for a very long time. And so, if you have any input or feedback, just go to the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page and share your thoughts. I appreciate it. But we talked about the Bel Air House last night.
Yeah.
Jason brought it up, and you know what? The first time we were there, it was crazy because we were there earlier, like the year before, and you weren't there with us on that one. But I'll explain that one a little bit. The first night we were there, it was like a happy house. You know what I mean? It was a very happy house and happy spirits, nothing going wrong, not really getting no evidence. But the next night, I'm telling you what, like in the afternoon, 4 or 5 in the afternoon, you can actually feel the energy in the house changing. And that night, it was bad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of nasty spirits in there, and so and then we did get evidence, but it just didn't have the right feel to it like it did the night before.
Yeah.
So I was kind of glad to get back out there. And the second time we went down to the Bel Air house, we like down in the basement with Jason. Now
Yeah.
you got to think Jason's our
Jason ended
techie,
up
right?
on your lap.
Yes. Jason is our techie, and he's also the co-host of the show Chasing Prophecy, along with Jenny Nicasio. And now you got to imagine Jason. He stays like about, I might be exaggerating, but
6'4".
6'4", and he
Uh-huh.
weighs over 300 pounds. And this spirit came up on him, and it wasn't even a spirit. We thought it was a demon of some sort because it looked like a platypus. You remember the picture that
Yeah,
Roy drew?
yeah, Mr. Roy
Looked
drew.
like a Yeah, and looked like a platypus. But all I know is that I have never seen a 6'4", 300-pound dude scream like he did, and he rolled into my lap. He scared me more than the scared him. I was like, damn. And I'd never seen somebody as hyper it was as he was that night. And
Oh, he got
I'll
pumped
tell you,
up.
yeah, he did. I mean, you couldn't get him to bed, man. He was just like rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
but I
adrenaline.
know, yes, it is. It is. It is. So when we go on investigations, do you have that adrenaline rush before you leave, or when you get there, or afterwards?
Usually when something happens, and I get that.
Okay.
First, it's excitement. Can't wait to get everything unpacked and put up the cameras and get everything ready to go. And then when
Right.
something like when that candle went out, I was astonished that what's the odds of that candle going out? And the flame was pretty big. It wasn't like
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
dying,
Right.
and it just boom.
We did everything in the world to debunk that too. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you
we
can't
tried
debunk
blowing
it.
on it. We tried everything.
Everything, and it just, to me, that besides the picture that Val got in the cemetery, and again,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put it on the Pittsburgh Paranormal Facebook page, but I'm also going to start a Facebook page for the show into the night. So
good idea.
um, yeah, bear with me on that. um, but the picture that Val got, that was amazing.
Yeah,
Okay, she just sat on the ground and she got her phone and she
I was
started
sitting next
snapping
to her.
it. Yep. And she snapped a picture. And so it was like 99 degrees that night.
Yeah, it was
And
hot.
it was hot. And so we went to my car and then we turned the AC on. And she says, "Ooh, look at this. Look at this." And here it was, a picture of a full blown figure of a ghost.
Yeah,
And it was a man, and it will look like he was standing there and he was looking down at the at a gravestone, and we kind of figured like it was his family and stuff like that. But to me, that one is like the ultimate of the ultimate pictures that
yeah.
we do have.
Perfect timing, perfect catch. And the adrenaline started pumping. We went right back up to where it was. And that's
We
like
couldn't
I said,
find
the
it.
cemetery has a big fence around it. Nobody's going to get in unless they go through the main gate. And
Right.
there was no cars pulled up. That was a pretty
Well,
good.
we so I showed that picture to the guy who runs the Grove Cemetery out there in New Brighton, and that next day he went out there and he tried to find that place where he was taken at, and no one can find it.
Yeah,
It's crazy. We look for landmarks and everything, and but we couldn't see it. You gotta excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I do say a lot because I'm a little bit nervous here, but no, I think I'm doing pretty decent. I'm
yeah.
just
You're
being straight up with you.
Hey, you're being normal.
I'm trying. I'm being normal.
We're hoping to
So,
go to Mississippi again in February or
dude,
March. That's a
you
great.
know what? Oh my God, yeah. And did you hear that guy yesterday say
Yeah, his
that?
name's Phil. I wrote him on
Did you?
Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. And he said that there is so much paranormal activity down in Mississippi.
Oh yeah, you got the
And
Yazoo.
when we, yeah, everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'll be in like ghost heaven. You'll be like in the paranormal investigators, like paradise, looking at all these people. But the time that he's in, it's called Vicksburg. I don't really know too much about the battle during the Civil War about Vicksburg, but it was a very, very deadly um, battle.
Yeah.
So, out of all your investigations that you have been on with PPS, what is your favorite?
I'd say Gettysburg.
Hmm.
That's good times we had, and caught some evidence and everybody together. I like
Hmm.
that. Uh, I mean, me and you had a bunch of investigations, like when
Yes.
the K2 wouldn't go off, and
Hmm.
the girl said he don't like women, the spirit. So I told Janice to go downstairs, and so she went downstairs. That K2 was answering me left and right. I'd say, take it up the
Yes.
red for yes, and it would go right up the red. And you don't like women, it would up the red. That was a very good investigation. And
Hmm.
oh
Can
god,
you
we had
talk about? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
no, I said we've had so many investigations, and but that's the one that sticks in my mind. How I love when you get positive answers and something's there, and then it quits.
Right. Hmm.
Tell it off.
So you've been now. I never been to Hillview Manor, believe it or not. I've never been there. I
Well,
just seems like every time I'm supposed to go up there, something happens and I don't go up. And I know that you've been there, what, twice now?
three times we
Three
went.
times? Can you tell our audience here what happened to you guys up there?
Well, the first time I went up to there's like two floors, and then if you go all the way down, there's three floors. There's like a main building. And I went
Hmm.
up there by myself while everybody was eating pizza in the break room. I went all by
Okay.
myself and went up, and they said it's Jimmy's room. And they leave him batteries, money, and cigarettes. And I
Okay.
went up and said, I was there all by myself, and I had the EVP recorder. And I
Hmm.
said, Jimmy, are you here? Can you give me a sign? And nothing went on. So then after the next day, I was going over the evidence, and you hear plain as day. I said, Jimmy, are you here? And you hear, F you. I mean, plain as
Well,
day. And
right.
I waited for
Right.
somebody, and they said, no, he's saying, tie my shoe. I said, no, he's not. I know what he's saying. It was, but
Wow.
you, after you listen to it, it could have been tie my shoe, but it was, I thought it was F
Uh,
you.
okay. What else happened up there that you thought was interesting?
We got a lot of K2, where you ask it and it went up the red and then it would go down. And then we did the flashlights. We took
Hmm.
two flashlights and said, please light the one on the left. And left one went off. And
Hmm.
then, okay, please, can you turn that off? And it would go off. And then the right one, can you light the right one? Boom, it went off. It
Hmm.
was a pretty good place to go. And then Janice
Was
was walking down the hall with all of us. And she said, there's a bat in my hair. And we're looking and there's nothing in her hair. Something pulled her hair. And the lady said, I
wow.
said, remember the lady told us on the tour, a lot of people get their hair pulled here. A lot of women get their hair pulled in this hallway. And she got her hair pulled. And she liked that.
did, did her anger arise a little bit over that?
No, she was pretty
No.
surprised. I mean, it didn't hurt her. She
Right.
just felt her hair pull a little bit. That was
Well,
pretty good.
what was that place? Was that a mental hospital? It's for our viewers, Hillview
Yeah,
Manor. That's up there in Newcastle, PA. And
Newcastle.
if you're yes, and if you're ever close to Newcastle, PA, or you're in Pennsylvania, you're coming through, and you like to go on a ghost hunt, go up there, Hillview Manor. It would be a very good investigation, something for tonight. And I have to say, they are not a sponsor of my show. I'm just being straight out with you on that. Um,
But
so
they give you the tour and they tell you all the hot spots and good places to go and things that's happened. And the Jimmy, she told me he's a prankster. They one time took a
mhm.
TV downtown. They escaped. They took a TV downtown, sold it, and I forget she said. They bought a checkerboard and a bunch of cookies. They come back and she said, "Where'd you get that?" And the TV was gone. She said in life he was a prankster.
He
He
was a
went to
prankster on that one. Well,
yeah.
see here, let me ask you this question. Now, it's okay to ask for hot spots and find out where, for somebody new that's starting off, but
Mhm.
To me, I think it's taken away from actually investigating. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like to know where things happened and try to
Hmm.
recreate them. Or, they say that a cold wind comes through and find out that there's a vent there or something. But I
Right.
like to go and explore. Like we've been down to the Trans Allegheny Lunatic
Hmm.
Asylum. I like that place. You can go explore, and there's maybe 60, 70 people, and you'll never run into somebody. That's how huge that place is. That's a big
Wow.
place. And
And that's another place I haven't been to yet, but I think I'll hopefully make it down there one time.
we got to
But
try to make Paw Paw Tunnel too. That looks like a pretty interesting place.
yeah,
So,
okay. So everybody, Russ, he's retired. He's got the RV. And he can travel. So you were at the Bellwitz Caverns, was that right? The cavern or
well, we
cave?
went up to them. Yeah, that's we went to them, but it was closed. But it was off season. They closed like end of September, and
Hmm.
we was going down to New Orleans. So they like close in the winter months, fall, winter. I think they
Hmm.
do have a festival there in October, but I
Right.
don't know if the caves are open.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of
But
history in Adams County that.
is that what it is, Adams County? Because there's an Adams County in Pennsylvania, and
Yeah.
that's actually where the Battle of Gettysburg was fought, was in Adams
Mhm.
County.
Yeah.
So it must be the name Adam, where all this stuff is happening. But
Part of the
um,
Adams family.
Adam's family. But I do want to ask you if you could share this story. You were down in New Orleans,
Oh yeah.
and now I believe in voodoo, and I
Hmm.
do personally believe in the hoodoo, and I don't disrespect any of it. My thoughts and what I believe in is if it works for a person, then let them have it. You know what I mean? Let them, if it makes them feel good about themselves, and just like Catholics, if they make it feel good, diehard Catholics or diehard
Yeah.
partisan Protestants, then but I would like you to, if it's okay with you, if you would like to
Sure.
share that story. Thank you. Good.
Well, what had happened? Let me go get her. Was I was an asbestos worker my whole life, insulator for local two, and we tore off a lot of asbestos. Here, I'm getting her. And my friend Pat, he was dying from mesothelioma. So what he did was he told me about it, and I went up to visit him while he was sick in the hospital. And we all started working together. Me, him, there was a Jimmy. Well, he said Jimmy had it too. And I went to my doctor because I get an annual physical, and he gave me an X-ray. And as soon as I got home, I got a call. Something was on the X-ray to go get an MRI. So I went and got an MRI. Went to the doctor. He said, "There's something on your left lung." He said, "I want you to go to the Cancer Institute in Pittsburgh." So I went there, made an appointment. It was a Dr. Chrissy. He said, we can cut you and go in, explore, and see if it is mesothelioma of your pleural lining. That's cancer of your pleural lining.
Hmm.
And I said, okay. He goes, you're going to be in the hospital 4 days. So I said, well, we're going to New Orleans in 2 weeks. Will I be okay to walk around down there? And he says, let's do it when you get back. So I made all my arrangements, all my funeral arrangements, me and the wife. And I was really shook up. Well, we went down to New Orleans, and a cousin of my wife, they flew down and met us down in New Orleans, and they stayed at the RV park with us. Well, he wanted to go down to Bourbon Street on Fat Tuesday. So it was like 34 degrees. It was cold and raining. Nobody wanted to go. And then Janice said, go with them. And something just told me go. So it's just me and him down Bourbon Street, thousands of people. And a little black woman walked up to me. She had to be 4'2", real long
Mhm.
dreadlocks, and she had to be in her late 70s, early 80s. No beads or anything on, just dressed in normal clothes. She come up and she goes, "Here, this is for you," and she gave me this doll. I don't know if you can see her.
There you go. I see it. Yeah.
See, she gave me this doll, and I thought she was going to ask me for like a donation, like the Hare Krishnas used to.
Right.
She just turned around and disappeared into the crowd. I mean, she didn't vanish. She just went into the crowd and was gone. So I took it back, and there's writing on it. You can't see it too much anymore. This was 6 years, 7 years ago.
Right.
So, anyways, when I come back, I went into the hospital. They cut me. They and I was waiting for him to come back and say, "Yeah, it's meso or it's asbestosis." And he come back. He goes, "There's nothing there." The doctor
Wow.
told
Ain't
me,
that
and he said, "We wanted you to get another MRI," and they gave me another MRI, and it was clean. So I told him
wow.
this story, and he said, "Don't question it." So I've kept her close to me ever since.
Hmm.
She's a good
Yeah, she's a good dog. When you told me that story, that really really put a nice smile on my face. But no, my face, but in my heart, man, because you're a good dude. You're my brother, And I couldn't say I don't know what to do without you, man. You taught me everything I know.
I feel that that woman saved my life. And if you
Yes, she
look
did.
on it, there's French writing on here. And we took it down to New Orleans, I think the year after. And I showed
Hmm.
them and the guy that could read French, and it says for health and protection. And then
Wow.
in English it says never forget. So I go down whenever I go down there. I always go down and thank Marie Laveau because
Okay.
I mean, the woman was old, and Marie died when she was, I think, in her 40s, 50s.
Right.
And everybody says that wasn't her. She was tall. But whoever this woman was, I feel she saved my life. And I'll never argue with somebody that believes in voodoo or
Right.
hoodoo.
Right. Exactly. Because basically, it's just a religion, and now here my question to you would be, could a possibility could have been an angel? Because angels walk around this rock on earth that are in human form. Do you think a possibility could have been an angel?
Could have been an angel.
Hmm.
And since it was in New Orleans, they figured when in Rome, let's do as the Romans do. And I mean, this doll, you can buy dolls down there, but they're like
Right.
3 inches big and they're $15. And I mean, this thing's huge.
Right. It
And
is.
and it looks like somebody put a lot of work, and it smells real musty. It doesn't
Okay.
now because I've had it on, since I got it,
Right.
but it was put somewhere hidden. And
That story just amazes me. I
thank God
think that
every day this happened.
I would be thanking God every day too.
Yeah.
Now, Now I know that you go a lot traveling.
Mhm.
Besides the Bell Witch, what other places did you go to that you thought were pretty scary and that you actually got to do some investigations with?
uh, Natchez Cemetery in Mississippi. It wasn't
Okay.
scary. It was different. The tombstones down there, like I told you about the one. It looked like a birthday cake, and they said what it
Hmm.
is. It's a man in a rocking chair with his granddaughter next to him because she died when like maybe 1 year old
Hmm.
from disease or something. I don't remember what she died from. And then he died right after, and they buried him next to her crib, sitting in a rocking chair, and it looks like a birthday cake.
Oh
And then they had
wow.
the woman that had the hole dug down to her daughter's grave. Her daughter was like 12, and she died of a disease, the plague that
Hmm.
went through. She had steps put in and a glass front, and had her daughter's coffin there. And she used to get down there when it was a thunderstorm and sing to her because her daughter was afraid of lightning and thunder.
Hmm.
and that's a neat place to visit. That cemetery, it's so old and it's so unique,
Hmm.
and it's I really like it. I love Mississippi, and we went to Rodney, Mississippi. That's another story. I'll show you the picture
Okay.
when the bug.
All right.
But they're redoing that church.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. I
Yeah,
think I'll be honest with you. You told the story behind that, and I believe the ghosts are saying it's time for you to go home, brother.
yeah.
You
There's
can't
some,
go to this town. um, yeah, you can tell the story on that if you wish about your bug.
I just was going down the road, and my wife said I wouldn't go down here if I was you. And I didn't listen, and
Hmm.
sunk the bug up to the door in a puddle. So we had to get
Hmm.
AAA. They came and pulled me out. It was fun. It was
So,
an experience.
oh, of course, that's the spirits like telling you, nah, you can't go to this town today. So you got to go back home again. But I just I know that I got 6 more years and I can retire.
Yeah,
And I'm looking forward to buying a little tag along so I can go out and explore America too, and a lot of the
yeah,
haunted places like that. And so I just and then I keep looking because I know how you do it when you watch them the haunted shows or the ghost shows, and if you find something interesting, you put it into your phone, right?
yeah. And my maps, like Haunted
And then,
America.
so hopefully, if I do make it, even if I survive the next 6 years, I'm hopefully that I could will be able to do such a thing.
Well, they say
Um,
the good die young. You'll be all
I'll probably be living to 133 and a half years old in my book. But ladies and gentlemen, some of the stuff that we were talking about tonight was actually some of our adventures with the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society and a little bit about the PPS. I founded the group back in 2006, and how I founded it March 6th, 2006. And what it was is in February, I went up to Gettysburg that year in February, and I went out and wanted to go find some ghosts. I didn't get any, but it intrigued me. It really, really intrigued me. And so what happened was I came back, and in March I was sitting at Eaton Park in a restaurant here in Pittsburgh, and I talked to a friend of mine, and I said I want to start a paranormal group. You know, just to do something on a Saturday night. You know, like go to a cemetery, go to you know, lore places that have a lot of lore to it, and just to do something. And so at that time, Taps was just coming on TV, and that's what we did. You know, I went on meetup.com, and what I did was I found people and we went out and investigated. And, it was fun. I enjoyed it. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be a deal if I took 400 or 500 pictures in one investigation when I started,
right.
you know. Um, but out of that 400 or 500 pictures that I would take, if I got one or two, I was a happy camper. You know, I remember my very first orb that I got. It was up at a cemetery up in Monroeville. I forget the name of that place. Restland Cemetery.
Yeah.
So we took, I took a picture, and here at Eaton Park, okay, they have what you call smiley cookies. Okay, it's two eyes with a big smile on it, right? Well, this looked like a smiley cookie, but it was orange and it wasn't smiling. It had one of them like evil grins on it. So that was my first horror, and I still have that picture to this day. But as time went on in 2006, someone asked me if I could come down to their house and investigate their house. And that girl, Sue Molnar, uh, she lived down in it's called a little town called Elkhorn, PA. And we went down there and we found a lot of ghosts. And from there on, it all started out. That's how PPS started. Um, I really don't like to go to pay-per-views. We call them pay-per-views. The reason being I don't, because all that place is doing is making some money, because other ghost groups were there. Um,
Well, I
the
feel
ones that
some of
were
it,
on TV.
they do it to refurbish the place too, to keep it from
Oh, yeah.
funk. Yeah.
Prospect place. Prospect. Yeah. But not
Respect.
all of them did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to go back there too. You know what I mean? We got to go back to
The
Prospect.
scaredest, the scaredest I ever was when we did the EVPs, and I was on my couch listening to them,
Hmm.
and I'm listening and listening. Then I don't know what happened, but then I rewinded and started listening again, and I hear, "Rah." Remember that? And
Yeah, I
find
do.
and the wife found out I dozed off and must have hit the record button, and I EVP myself. That's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
yeah, I that is funny. Now I know. Yeah, I got a good, nice chuckle out of that one.
Oh,
But so with PPS, we mainly work with clients. We go to clients' houses. We go to businesses
help people.
because to help people. And to me, paranormal investigating is to help people. It's okay to go to cemeteries, and it's okay to go to places that are haunted. But to me, the satisfaction that I get out of investigating is helping our clients and to just explain to them, why the spirits are there, why are they hanging around, what do they want, and whenever they get that answer, that they feel a lot better about what's going on, and a lot of them aren't, very scared anymore.
Remember the one where the boyfriend was
Oh
saying
yeah,
wanted, and the girl was scared, and she wouldn't go to the apartment. She was staying with her mom and dad, and we put the
yeah,
night cameras in when that's when they first came out. Well, they didn't
right,
first come out, first known about. Now everybody knows about them, and we found out it was him. He said somebody took that glass off the table, and oh, it's there in
yeah,
the bed. And we caught him. And what it was is he was trying to scare his girlfriend out of the apartment to move in his new girlfriend. So
yeah,
we've
exactly,
debunked a lot too.
yeah. I mean, I mean, you got 4 or 5 paranormal investigators in there, and the guy, I didn't know where his mind was, but to actually steal that glass and put it on the
Yeah.
on the bed stool, and that was like,
Told me
yeah,
you
we
said you
busted
have
your
it.
ass.
You said you have that on film, and he goes, "It's pitch black in there. Nobody can see it." And I said, "I got night vision." And he goes, "What's
Yeah, I
that?" I said,
remember
"I
that.
can see in pitch black." And he goes, "Everybody got to leave. This is freaking me out. Everybody got to leave now." And we went home and
Yeah,
looked
I
at it.
remember that. Yes.
He he was trying to scare us,
Oh my God. But
but
see,
we helped her. He thanked us for it.
yes, she did. And she got back to me like about 3 or 4 years later, and she was just so grateful then.
Yeah,
What I like the most about is getting emails from our clients,
yeah.
3, 4 years down the road,
Hmm.
telling us that they're very grateful that we came and how we helped things out. And it, it's it just gives me a feeling of happiness that we can do that.
We helped somebody.
Um,
What it
we
all
help
about?
somebody,
Yeah,
but that's all what it's about. I remember back when I started investigating when I formed PPS, you know, there was a lot of animosity between different paranormal groups. Okay.
yeah.
One group had to be better than the other group. One group had to have the better evidence, and what really, really irritates me now, Drake from Oak One Paranormal Society. Okay. Drake's my friend, but we cannot investigate each other because his methods and my methods are totally different. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but what really gets me upset is, you know, why yell at a ghost just to get something written on some evidence on a machine?
Yeah.
Why do you have to call out a ghost? To me, that's sacrilegious. That's like me, going to your house and you're dead and you're hanging around, and I call you every name in the book so I can get a reaction. You wouldn't like that, now would you?
It's
Hell
always
no, you
better to
wouldn't.
catch more bees with honey than vinegar. So,
Exactly. So for me, it was like, I know that if I treat Russell with respect, then, Russell's going to be good to me and he's going to give me all this type of information and we can go from there. I
I'll haunt.
just
I'll haunt you.
trust me, trust me. I have a list that long who I'll be haunting when I die. So, I like to tell everybody that because they all get paranoid thinking that they're on that list, you know. But I'm really enjoying this. To my people out there that are listening to the show and watching the show, um, this is just my first time, and I'm not apologizing for anything. We're going to have different types of, things. Like my first show, I want to do it on witches because I think witches get a bad deal. All right. And I'm going to do some paranormal stuff. Just going to talk about what's going on in the world. So again, my show is on Tuesday nights from 11 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. And what's the Central? 10. I'm just like so nervous. 10 to
Cents
11.
an
Yeah,
hour.
thanks, Russ. But I don't know. It just seems like we're getting pretty close to closing up the show. I'm just waiting for Joe to pop in here.
And go to Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page if you have any
Mm-hmm.
questions or you'd like us to look into something for you.
Oh, exactly. And I also want to thank Jenny Nicasio. Over a year ago, she gave me the opportunity to co-host the show Chasing Prophecy. Um, and that is on 10, it's on at 9 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern to 11. And she gave me the opportunity to do that. And I've been doing it for over a year now. And I really enjoy this because for the longest time, I wanted to do something like this. And now I got the opportunity. It has opened my eyes to different things. It has opened my eyes to UFOs, aliens, cryptids, Bigfoot, on all the guests that we had. And I'm just willing to learn because listening to all these big people that, study this, that write books about this stuff, I find it very, very interesting. And so I think when we go up to that UFO barbecue up at that Bigfoot barbecue this on the 18th, I think me and Jason are going to go Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And then we're going to be looking for UFOs too at night. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty interested in it. You have anything else to say, Russ?
No, I'm good. Thank you for the chance to get on the show.
Thank you for being here, brother. I'm
Nope.
just going to try to get in contact with Joe to see if he can get here um, until he comes in. Well, I guess we'll still keep on talking. If
Joe.
anybody, what's that?
I said, yeah, till Joe comes.
Yeah, until Joe comes and gets us. Well, he got The Outer Limits, the two girls, the redheads coming on pretty soon at 9 o'clock, and The Outer Realm, and Michelle, and who's the other girl? She's going to kill me. But they're. I enjoy watching their show because I've learned a lot from them. I've learned a lot from Lorelai. I've learned a lot from her. Now I'm nervous. I forget the names, but
You
I've
forgot
learned
to
a
remember.
lot from their names and their shows, and but that's okay because my show Into the Night, it's gonna get good. It's gonna get better. And before Joe gets here again, um, I'm from Pittsburgh, okay, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we have our own slang. Okay, we call it Pittsburghese. Okay, and you're going to think that I'm a nutcase. You probably do already, but um, there are certain slang words that we say here in Pittsburgh that would, like make you people shake your head. So, what I'm going to do on the show in the future is I'm going to take some of our slang words and I'm going to tell you all about it on the radio,
Yeah.
and just get you a little bit more involved with what Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is all about. So, okay, Joe, where you at, brother? Okay, I guess he still wants us on. All right.
Yeah.
So, anything else? What's for the future and investigating for you, Russell? Where are you and Jan going to be or wanting to go to investigate?
Mississippi again, New Orleans, maybe
What?
shoot over to Texas, see what's over there. There's a whole
Okay.
world out there to investigate.
Well, didn't you go out to New Mexico?
Yeah, New
Out that
Mexico.
way?
Yeah,
And
that was
you got? Did you get some ghost towns out there?
the only one we was in was I can't remember the name of the town. Beautiful place.
Uh-huh.
Hey, there's Joe.
Hey, Joe, what's
Hey,
up,
can y'all
buddy?
hear
How
me?
are you?
Hey,
Yeah, we hear you.
Right. I don't want to get a bunch of feedback going. Yeah, I was talking about Mississippi. Yeah, look, next time you come down, get my phone number. I'll take you to these graveyards. NASA took over in the 60s. They took over 4 cities. They
Yeah.
just took them over because they wanted to build the Apollo program, and they needed to have room because every time they tested a rocket, it blew out the windows all the way to New Orleans almost. So the NASA's got a huge base here, and then around it, they got a big, huge testing area. Well, they got graveyards back there that date back into the 1690s and the 1700s on their
Wow.
property. So they allow you to go back there. They've got several of them. They got one little tiny one. It's definitely a family graveyard. One of my favorites is it's right off. It's right at the Mississippi-Louisiana state line, right on the Pearl River, right in front of NASA. So there's a little road you go down, and it's well maintained. They still use this graveyard even today. It's well kept, well maintained. Well, the very first time we went back there, we pull into this thing, and they've got strings hanging off the trees with these little white, looks like Halloween ghosts. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And they had a bottle of water on every grave.
Wow.
I don't know what the hell this was. Somebody's doing some ritual. I stumbled into something. I have no idea what I stumbled into, but mind you, and I did a lot of magic in my youth, but I have no idea what this was about. Well, a couple months later, we took a crew out there. We pull in. We're all walking around this graveyard, and the fog comes in, and it comes in just waist high. That's it. It was just
wow.
so we're looking around, and you
My
can
wife
hear
loves that.
yeah, you can hear the alligators off in the distance yawning and growling and stuff, and we're all walking around. So all of a sudden, they got a bunch of these little baby graves in there. There must have been a little plague that came through the village at some time or another, but just 30 or 40, maybe 50 graves. It can't be more than a foot and a half long. So they're definitely babies. So all of a sudden, the fog just starts rolling like it was coming up from the ground and rolling up and then rolling back down just over these 8 or 9 graves.
Mm-hmm.
We had video of it. I don't know what the hell that was about. That was very, very weird. But on a couple of occasions, groups that have come back from there have brought something back with them because there was violence in the house afterwards or some kind of other trouble. So it's not all peaceful. I mean, there's a lot of peacefulness in that graveyard, and it's really a beautiful place, but there's still some, I guess, unhappiness associated to it still. But these are all in the swamp. There's no cities around them, no towns around them. They're just by themselves. There's 4 really nice ones.
If it's in the swamp, where do you walk at, or do you have to go by boat?
No, you just drive your car.
They got roads.
Yeah. Almost most of the swamps, except for the way back in Honey Island, I'd have to take in a boat back there. But most of the swamps now you can drive into. And in the old days, nobody went back here. Ever since I started talking about it on the radio, unfortunately, with my big ass mouth, people started going back there. Now, a couple months, we were in Alabama, and we ran across one of the battlefields from the Confederate and National armies. This place is huge. There were 5 different scrimmage lines inside this park. So, a lot
Wow.
of people died inside this park. They had a
Mhm.
little town associated with it. They had a hanging tree, a jail. So it pretty much is, I haven't been out there at night. They have a little cabin, so we're going to rent a cabin a couple months and go stay out there. But and how can I say this? I don't necessarily get a creepy feeling when I drive through it because there's areas like when you're about to hang, in one particular battlefield, I didn't get an eerie feeling. I got an overwhelming feeling of something, but it wasn't. It
Mhm.
didn't feel hostile. It didn't feel nasty. It didn't feel mean. It just was overwhelming. It's too much. It must have been more than one or just several because it was just really overwhelming. But I didn't feel mad or hostile. I didn't even feel drained afterwards. But it's a very weird one. Then in right up here in Mississippi, not far from where I live, we found inside of the DeSoto Forest, we found an abandoned Indian reservation.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, so it's an old clay reservation. It's still maintained today. So I guess it's way back in the woods. Now that place creeped the living shit out of me. Every time I go in there, I get the heebie-jeebies. And one
Where
time
are
we're
you at
driving.
now, Joe?
I live in Pass Christian, Mississippi.
Okay, because I
I'm on the
remember we
Gulf
were going
Coast.
to look you up in New Orleans, but then I hit that pothole and put a hole in my oil tank.
Yeah, well, I'm my business and I got the station's actually based out of New Orleans and my construction
Yeah.
business is based out of New Orleans. But when I'm up here, I broadcast from here because I like it up here. It's much nicer, much more peaceful now. We were in Natchez not too long ago. We went up to a stay at a hotel, go do a little gambling up in Natchez to see if the
Yeah.
old casinos were paying better than new ones. Anytime we go, we always do some kind of sightseeing or some kind of ghost hunting or UFO hunting or something. We ran across another Indian place up there. I'm telling
Oh
you,
wow.
nobody would walk in. Everybody got the heebie-jeebies. Even people that didn't believe in ghosts got the heebie-jeebies. They were
Yeah.
like, What? This place just feels weird." It did, but again, it didn't feel hostile. It felt like something was pushing back, like you were walking into a field and it was pushing against you, But it wasn't
Right.
trying to hurt you. Or maybe walking through a really dense type of material or something. It was a very
Mhm.
strange thing. But if you ever come down, I'll take you out. We're gonna do the tour, man, and I know
Yeah.
Dark Waters. I've talked with Dark Waters, and he's a friend with Bloody Mary, and they've talked about going out and doing some filming out there. But I bring cameras with
Cool.
me all the time. Oh, I'll have to show you a video I got to. Yeah, we got a couple minutes. So we back
Okay.
in Honey on Swamp, doing a little UFO hunting, by the way.
There
Way
you go.
back.
We can do that too.
NASA's got some weird stuff that flies in and out, so we were out there videotaping it. Well, we're coming
Mhm.
back to video. We leave the videotape on a camera because you never know what you're going to catch. Like we've caught fawns dropping, herds of hogs running across the road and shit. Weird things. So we get a bad habit of filming and then looking at the film later on, sometimes weeks, sometimes months later. So my wife and I were sitting down one night and we decided we're going to go through some of this high A footage. And we're looking and we're driving along. It's rarely boring. It's dusk. It's kind of boring. Just nothing around. And all of a sudden you see a guy in cowboy boots, blue jeans, flannel shirt, and a hat walk across the road. And he turned and looked at us. Well, the problem was I was doing about 60. He was walking about a mile an hour, and he was translucent. And I
Oh
mean,
wow.
it's a fucking great. It was so weird because we didn't see it in real time. We didn't see it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we drove through it without ever seeing it. Didn't even feel anything. But when you seen the video, he obviously reacted to us. Either he was reacting to us or he was reacting to something else that we couldn't see. But he turned around and looked right at us. It creeped the hell out of me. But it's a great video, man. The scariest one I ever got, though. This is just okay. I don't know. We got 5 minutes and we got to go. But so we were at the casino gambling all night. I'd been drinking all night. I mean, I was 20 White Russians into the wind. And I was like, so it might have been more than that, actually. So on the way to this Cadillac Bayou, and there's this 269-year-old church. It's just a little shotgun church. It always freaks me out. I've been wanting to investigate it a lot. So I was finally drunk enough. I said, you know what? It's 4:30 in the morning. I told my wife, just stop. I get out with a 10 million power Q beam and my camera. So I'm filming around, looking at the grass. And I'm loaded, by the way. So I'm filming. And I start panning through the church windows. And at first, I thought of seeing something. I said, nah, I'm drunk. Don't worry about it, Joe. You didn't see nothing. And so I went home. Next morning, I got up. I looked through it. So this is what you see. You see something walk up to the window, probably 5 to 6 foot tall. Some people say it was a gray. Some people say whatever it was, it came up. So then you're standing there looking at this thing and you see this blackness move behind it and just step up behind it. This thing went to the top of the window. The window's at least 12 feet. least 12
Wow.
feet. So this thing was huge. It just engulfed the whole thing. Had no idea I got it on tape. We must have showed it. We put it all over the internet, showed it to all kind of people, and we went out of town for 2 weeks on an investigation out west. And when I came back, 11 of my videos had been altered. 11 of them.
11.
Wow.
So 2 of them
Wow.
I didn't have. I usually make double copies. For these 2, I hadn't done it yet. They weren't old enough to do it yet. I hadn't really got around to it. And so you can see. Thank God, a lot of people have seen this video because at least they know I'm not crazy. So now you can see something come up, and then something come up, and then the video's cut. The middle part where you can actually see what's going on is completely gone. Completely. It looked like somebody had just restarted a tape over, but I never do that. I always give myself a minute between each new tape if I'm taping on the same tape because I don't want to tape over anything. I don't know, guys. It was creepy. And then there's always the black thing in the back of Honey Island Swamp. That's a thing in itself, man. I don't know what these black things are.
Nice place.
Yeah, it was a lot to look at back there. And it's not just the aliens or the demons.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you'll be back there, you'll hear like drums beating. You can hear like Indians off in the distance. There's a couple of trail tribes you can walk through. You'll see none of that seems to be hostile. But whatever that black thing that jumped came up behind our car that night, that was hostile. I don't know what the hell it was. Well, it was weird. I'm sitting there. Oh, I gotta go fast. So I'm sitting there with my wife. We're talking. We got the moonroof open in the car. My car. And the car I'm in is all black. Even the bumpers are black. It's one of the reasons we liked it. You go park it anyway, nobody would see it. We're sitting back there and we're talking. And for some reason, I stretched my leg. And when I did, I stepped on the brake. And the car was on, so the taillights came on. And I seen something just black behind the car. And I thought I seen the blackness move. And I said, "No, Joe. You just been looking. Your eyes need to digest or something." So I let off the light. And I said, "Baby, for some reason it was still bothering me." So I said, "Baby, just look at the back when I step on the lights." And she freaked. Whatever this was coming up behind the car, and it was moving towards us. So I just said, "Hell, I was in a Nissan Sentra. This bitch hauled ass with a V6 in it." So I just punched it. So I'm going through the swamp at about 100 miles an hour. So we're going to get away. All of a sudden, and my taillights, and you could see this thing. It was staying 20 yards behind the car the whole time. So we're coming up to the blacktop road. I mean, I'm flying. So we're coming up to the black road. So I hit my brakes. I step on, I cut my wheel, and I just slid up the gravel and let the car just plop up on the blacktop. And when it did, I reached out the car with my 9mm and went pop, pop, pop. And you could see the light. It stopped for the light. The bullets had no effect on it whatsoever. But the light, for some reason, made it stop. The 3 flashes, because you could see it kind of jerk as the flashes came out of the muzzle. So I was kind of like, so I just punched it. I'm getting out of here. I don't give a shit what it takes. We're in a blacktop now, so I got this little car out to the floor. I'm cruising around, bouncing over bridges, just scared I'm going to run myself off in the swamp. And this thing is staying pace with the whole thing the whole time. Well, there's a cattle guard coming up, and I know there's one coming up, and I know I cannot go with this thing at 100 miles an hour. So I get right up to it. I step on the brake real hard, and I come almost to about a 10-mile-an-hour crawl to it. And this thing came right up behind my car and then stopped. And then I just put it over the cattle guard, and it came up to the cattle guard and stopped. So it could obviously have caught me at any time, so I was confused at that point. So what makes this whole thing weird, I've been to some hairy, scary places. There was an unreal sense of fear here. I mean, I had fear like I have never experienced fear in my whole. I can't even put it into words. And I've had other people experience this thing. So, and that's why I said it's an unreal sense of fear, because most people at this point would lose it. And I was kind of, there's no way I'm scared of some black thing, just running up behind me like that. I mean, I've been out there, trying to pull aliens out the freaking sky and shit, watching them serve the beach. It's just the whole thing just felt real but fake. Like whatever this thing was definitely alive and definitely hostile, but under control of itself or something else. I don't know how to explain it. My wife's seen it. Well, we did a radio show right after that on Coast to Coast. And when I was on one of the shows, I actually mentioned it in passing and asked if anybody experienced this. We had iCar got about 150 calls from about 8 countries that had experienced this.
Wow.
The only thing it had in common, it was near either a military base or a space base. So all I can think of is this some kind of thing that keeps you, maybe when they're doing something they don't want you to see, they use this to run you off.
Possibility.
It's a sheer hypothesis because I really don't know what it was. I've never seen it again. Hope I never do see it again. Now I carry 2. I got a 9 and a 45 in the car. One with a 21 round, one with a 19 round. And I got 30.
Where in Mississippi are you again, Joe? What town?
Christian. I'm right on the Gulf Coast.
How you spell it?
It's just PASS for pass, and then Christian.
Okay,
Christian.
I've been there.
Okay.
I live on Mahali Bayou, which is if you walk out of my door, I'm 15 feet, well, about 20 feet to the water in my bayou, and from the bayou, I'm about 150 yards from the Gulf.
Oh, awesome.
It's
Go
a great
fishing.
place to live, but look, man, there's all kind of fun stuff down here to see. And
We'll go.
New Orleans, I mean, I always tell, and I got to go because I got to get the girls on, but New Orleans,
Yep.
if you can experience New Orleans between, say, 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., is the best time to go through the French Quarter, or even the old parts like the Marigny or down in St. Charles, the old parks like City Park or Ottoman Park.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get out there at those times, I mean, you got to be a little careful because you might get mugged or something. But that's why you go with more than one person. But really, that's the time to sense it. We've seen what looks like the slave auctions between the cathedral and the buildings right there.
Yeah.
Right.
We've got numerous reports of women walking in big belladonna dresses, walking down the freeway, down Esplanade or something like that. And sometimes it's almost like the psychics that work in front of the St. Louis Cathedral, who out there work all to wee hours in the morning, they tell you all the time that they see like couples walking through the quarter dressed in time from like the 1800s to 1790s or something, and but sometimes they seem to interact with them. A couple of the psychics that told me, like, one of them came up and said, "Oh, you're a table rapper." Well, that's not a term used today. It was a term used 300 years ago, but not today. Or they say weird stuff, but it seems like they actually notice. It's almost like a time slip more than it is a ghost thing. I don't, like I said, I don't know how to explain it. My forte is ufology and chasing aliens. I lead the paranormal to the paranormal, but I like to go with everybody. I have a lot of fun. I learn a lot of stuff. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, I got to let you say goodbye to everybody so we can let
Okay.
I don't want to make the redheads angry, man.
No, you don't. Okay,
And we'll be seeing you soon, Joe.
Just holler at me anytime, man. I would love to go hang out with you.
Okay. Thank you for being on the show, Russell and Joe. And I want to thank everybody for listening to my show tonight into the night. And remember that we are on Tuesday nights, 11 p.m. to midnight. And also Chasing Prophecy from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. Good night, everybody. Happy hunting.
Good night. Take care.